Okay, everyone, we're back. That was like a super quick break to let in somebody who's extremely fabulous. My new friend, Shaunte, who's another one of the members of the family here.
Yes, indeed.
That's right. At Global History Night and Duck Soup and everybody have a really good time. So, okay, so I was talking about Sudan, and one of the things that I was interested in was I was just reading an interview with an opposition politician, Yasser Arman, who said that he brought up women, and somebody there's a revolution. Women are protesting in Sudan again, and they're driving the latest protest against the dictator who's been there for 30 years. And so he doesn't want outside forces. And the interviewer said, well, what if the ICC dropped charges, the International Criminal Court, in exchange for stepping down? Mm-hmm. And so he said that, whatever, even that they do not want outsiders in their country. And that's the issue with the International Criminal Court, is it's outsiders. Okay, so this is one of the things, this kind of goes into one of the things that we talk about here, is kind of how you get popular culture and history into kind of general knowledge. And we like to talk about the International Criminal Court. So I'm going to talk about a Netflix show that I just watched called Black Earth Rising, which brings this up.
Okay, yeah.
Did you see it?
That's not the one with Sandra, is it? Okay, that's the other one. So
it's a woman named Michael Cole. Okay,
Michael Cole?
Yeah. Yeah, she does a show. Yeah, there you go. She does a show called Bubblegum. She's British Ghanaian. We've been talking about nationalism. Okay, so
that's interesting. I would like to hear a little bit more about that.
Sure. Okay, so it's a show on Netflix. Okay, and it starts off with, I'm really interested in Rwanda, and it's certain countries in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and so and the International Criminal Court. And the idea that, it is like, can we have is there a way to really try, for the world to try and come together and try and set standards? Pardon?
Do you believe it's a way? Or is that what that's about?
Well, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
About the International Criminal Court? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we talk about here a lot.
I'm interested.
Sure. Okay, so this starts off. Okay, this Netflix series does a really good job of kind of informing people of the issue and telling a story. Because it starts off with this lady who's an English lady who's a lawyer for the ICC. And she prosecutes people for the International Criminal Court. And so she's doing her, questions and answers and stuff. And so then there's one more question. And this black guy raises his hand and he says to her, right now at the International Criminal Court, all of them are African, and it's being tried in Europe. And so he said, okay, well, how do you justify that? And then, and he said, what about the state of Israel? Okay.
So those are real questions that he asked. He literally just stood up and just was like,
yeah.
So everyone was silent, or everyone had something
people
to say?
Were listening, but see, the thing is, this is
they didn't really understand what he was saying.
Well, they did in this. They did in this story, mm-hmm. because she was speaking to a class about the subject. So, the people in the story did
being the big guy. So we need be kind of weird that we just don't, all of a sudden we don't understand this one political issue, but we just consider it not a political issue.
Well, the reason the United States hasn't signed on to it means it means that nobody from the United States can be prosecuted for war crimes. You have to sign on to it in order to be judged by it.
Isn't that interesting, though?
Yeah, because that is kind of weird, and that's why nobody from the state of Israel has been charged with war crimes for their actions against the Palestinians. And so that's what. Okay, so in the story, this young dude is getting. I mean, it's getting pretty heated, and he basically says to her, like, don't you feel? He basically says, don't you feel bad, or how do you think it's right for you to be prosecuting these cases when it all happened because of your people coming into the country and colonizing it? And in the show, he went there and
he said colonizing it.
Okay. It was
intense.
It was a very good way to start it off. And
you're gonna get people started when
issue,
especially when he starts talking about colonizing.
Well,
you're gonna get that.
Well, yeah. And so then the instructor in the story is like, blah, 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 no, that's enough. And first the lawyer is saying like, no, it's okay. But so then it's time for her to leave, and so she turns around and she says,
what?
Okay, so she says to the guy, well, it may help you to know that my daughter is black and she's from Africa. Like, oh no, you just
it helps to know.
You're like, lady, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
It's like, no, that does not.
Wrong frame of mind.
You just you do not know. You do not, with somebody coming from the attitude like this young man, like, no, you do not redeem yourself by saying that you adopted a girl from Africa. So that's how it starts off. And then Michaela Cole plays the daughter, whose name is Kate Ashby, and she was adopted from Rwanda, and as she was orphaned in the Rwandan genocide. And so then the part of the story is the mother is going to meet her, and I guess she has some mental health issues, and she had tried to take her own life or something, and then and she's traumatized. She shows her belly, and she has these horrible scars. Yeah, I mean, she's traumatized, and
so she's completely vulnerable.
Yeah, she is, and then she works for. Then she works doing legal research in the firm where her mother works as an international lawyer. So then the mother gets called to come try a case at the International Criminal Court against a Tutsi general. And so in the Rwandan genocide, 800,000 people were killed, mostly Tutsis. It was the Hutus against the Tutsis. The Tutsis were the minority that were in control, but then their president was shot down and there was a genocide. But both sides there was genocide and killing on both sides. But this girl, this girl, she doesn't realize that kind of, and if you know anything about so her mother was called to prosecute a Tutsi warlord, and he's being prosecuted because after the genocide he escaped. He went to Congo and kind of kept fighting, basically, and started his own little army and general and used child soldiers and basically was committing his own war crimes. But he had also been kind of a hero for the Tutsis, so Kate is furious at her mother for prosecuting him when there's much, as she sees it, there's much worse stuff.
it's just like it's a real movie though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is it's so real life. So of
Well,
course,
it is.
that's why you're just so passionate about it. Exactly, right?
Yeah. And so they do, I don't know if you're going to, so, and it's also an interesting example of everything you don't want to do, everything wrong in adoption. Because I don't know if you're going to see it, because part of the thing is that
I'm from the system a little bit until my grandmother got me, so I very much understand how corrupt and how different that system can be at times.
well, yeah.
Yeah, know what I mean? I've seen it. So I know exactly how that runs through. And it's a system that's very much ignored. You know what I mean? And so that's very interesting to hear. You know what I mean? Because no one wants to speak about that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of these kids out here, and it's a lot of these people out here, it's a lot of these criminals out here, they are the way that they are because of the corrupted system.
Yeah.
But no one's talking about it. So that's very interesting to hear, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's had this whole experience of growing up as, okay, so one of the things we've been talking about is nationalism, because we were like talking about, okay, in the country, about, okay, we've had this discussion for a while, like, is nationalism racist? Like, okay, like the Make America Great Again guys, like, okay, is it, like, what is it? Okay, like, is it like, okay, well, what if people, like, really love their country and, like their country? Is that racist? And so we were talking about, in Hungary, the Prime Minister of Hungary is just really, he's doing all these things to try and, like, get women to have more babies because the population is declining. So he's like, we want more Hungarian babies. We don't want migrants
for their
population, because he doesn't want people to come there from other countries and have babies.
He wants their own specific population.
Exactly. And so, so that you just think is like the death, and like, okay, so that's where nationalism really is racism, because there's this idea that there's
is an
something
idea of racism
innate.
inside of that.
Yeah, I mean, something innate that makes some people better than other people. So
interesting.
And so what happened? So with Kate, she's like basically, her part of the story is that she's been her mother kept secrets from her. Her story is different than what she thought it was. And that's just so wrong and damaging, so she has all this heaviness about growing up in England as, like, as somebody as a former Rwandan orphan with that experience. And
that's really similar to the movie Hotel Rwanda, though. You know what I mean? There was some political issues that was going on in that movie as well. Yeah. Isn't that something? But no one really wanted to talk about it. That movie didn't even get the exposure that it should have.
Definitely. Well, that's one of the reasons that we started talking about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's a pretty good, it's a pretty good show being a good story and really making the points about the International Criminal Court. And
I think it's good that some people might get offended, because I think they need to wake up.
Well, yeah,
right.
Always, because there's a scene where Kate goes to Rwanda, and so one of the issues with the ICC has been with what the guy was saying in Sudan, like, okay, this is our business, and so the president, the issue, what the lawyer was saying is that, okay, well, some of these African countries don't have the infrastructure to be able to try these criminals, and that's why we're doing it over in Europe. And so Kate goes to Rwanda.
Always finds a way.
Exactly. So she kind of has the same attitude, and, so the president, so people there are just pretty much saying, like, we're going to do this our way. We want to try our own, we're going to do it our way, and, like, you're from England and you're coming in and, like, thinking you can change everything, and you can't. So, was a pretty good story, and
I'm gonna have
very
to.
well done.
No, I love
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. Like I be trying to talk to simpletons about that, but they be like, "Oh, you." I don't know. It's like people don't want to learn, and people don't want to listen.
Well,
I was talking about some other stuff that was going on in the street, just some hood stuff. Everybody would listen.
Well,
Yeah, but nobody wants to listen to this. You
yeah,
have to get into that because that's the stuff that's going on around us. You know what I mean? In our lives.
definitely.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so one of the things we were talking about,
What was
about
Bro talking about?
Well, last week we were talking about taxes, but we were also talking about Jussie Smollet.
You know what?
Yes.
I got so much to say on that.
Well, let's hear it.
I got to kick my leg again. Look.
Okay, but before
I even say anything, I mean, you can ask me something because this is you. You know what I mean? I know what I got my feelings about
But
that.
this is what we just say what we're thinking. But the one thing I want to say that is a trip is that okay, now that we're talking, nobody's talking about the governor of Virginia anymore.
No.
Now that the Jussie. So okay, so let us know. What do you think?
Okay, I just kind of feel like this. Me personally, just understanding that life and being just from the hood and seeing those type of events happen for real. You know what I mean? And then for you to just do that, like, you kind of, like, Hollywood already got this image of kind of messing up. People will do too much to just mess up their careers and their lives for Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like you want to sit up here and go and say something that's so real. These people that's died for real in real life. You know what I mean? From these real crimes. You know what I'm saying? And you're taking this, where we've all had, some people have lost their children over this. People who can't even come out. You know what I'm saying? Because they are so scared of something like that happening. And you take it because you feel like you ain't getting paid enough for something in your little career. You ain't getting as high as the other people. You got to work hard. Yeah. You don't take something like that and then expect these people to go. They gonna go to jail for you?
Yeah.
You serious? For real? Nobody want to be in no dang jail.
Yeah.
For a hate crime.
It's just
on a gay man.
And it's
so
just
I mean, imagine
serious.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I just kind of feel like you gotta be careful on stuff like that. I feel really, really disrespected because there's so many kids that I know. I do charities when I do my cosplays, and I kind of feel like there's a lot of them that are scared to live their life because they go through those type of crimes. And for someone to just manifest that into their own giving to try and make funds or to get publicity or to make themselves lit, as they say, I think that to me is a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem because you're making this a joke now. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're making this a joke. The moment that child maybe somewhere woke up and was like, I'm going to tell everybody how I feel. Here you go, lying about some stuff. You got people in jail.
And it's just really serious.
It's really serious. It's a real serious thing. You don't know what you're doing to other people's lives. Yeah. So me personally, I feel like it's effed up. And I particularly feel like people like that need to be prosecuted for lying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you should. You should be prosecuted because that's just messed up. You made me feel sympathy for you over nothing.
Yeah.
You serious? That's like me hitting an imaginary cow. Just like, what is that? You know what I mean? Don't make me feel sympathy for you and you just,
Yeah.
But that's what society is now. And it is political at the same time because Hollywood makes you feel like that's what you got to do in order to stay relevant.
Yeah, yeah.
And just like certain presidents these days got to do a whole bunch of hocus pocus to stay relevant.
But
because you're not doing a good enough job as being president.
You know, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that, I mean, I see it as like other politicians and celebrities trying to like jump in on this for themselves, and
They do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, and so it
Not a
just
joke.
feeds into, like now people are, like, yeah, I mean, hate crimes are on the rise, but now it's going to be even harder for them to be taken seriously.
Exactly the point. You hit it right on the head, because now they're going to feel even more victimized.
Yeah.
They already felt that way. So now it's going to be a little bit, every time something happens, somebody just say something, it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now everything's going to be overly dramatic, over sexualized, or something's going to happen to make everyone just act in an uproar.
But it's crazy that, like, now nobody's talking about the governor of Virginia.
No.
Anymore.
Nothing that has anything to do with anything realistic.
Well,
it's talked about. We're talking about this boy lying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just what it is, because they're lying too, I guess. That's why everybody just like, whatever.
Well, which
one's reality?
Do you think the governor of Virginia should step down? Should have stepped down?
Honestly, to be honest?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. But, it is what it is. I mean, I just kind of feel like when you're kind of lying, and you're kind of just doing a whole bunch of things just to be doing a whole bunch of things, but none of it's making any sense. You kind of giving false hope type of things. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't really know. This is the thing. I just feel like maybe step down, or maybe I feel like before we just enter these people, we're voting for these people, but we're never getting to know these people. You understand what I'm saying? That goes for any state. That goes for any city. That goes for anywhere. Sometimes we don't get to know some of those things. And I kind of feel like then we get disappointed later on, and then we have these discussions.
The issue that I had with...
What's yours?
The issue I had with the governor of Virginia is that I felt that the people of Virginia should make that choice. The people, because it's sort of like, okay,
it shouldn't be everyone else's choice.
Exactly, that it shouldn't be public opinion, and like, okay, being offensive is not against the law, and that it's a very, very individual and personal thing. Like, some people I know were like, no, we should, like how you feel about...
Because honestly, we're not talking about the president of the United States.
Well,
we're talking about someone of a certain city, state.
And that how I saw it is that, he was elected because people in Virginia thought that he could do a good job for them, and so the people of Virginia should decide if they still want him to do the job. They should decide, not people from all over the country. And the guy was really progressive, and so because it's really
didn't think of that that way. Very interesting. Didn't think of it that way.
So that's
you need to tell them.
Well, that's what. Yeah,
but that's up to them. That is true, because no one can really say how our mayor or our governor or anyone is doing anything over here in the Bay Area. You know what I mean? So we have to understand. Okay, well, you're thinking in the outside way of it, like, okay, Virginia, you guys voted this person, you guys need to figure it out.
He was
we voted who we voted for.
He was elected with 90% of the African American vote in Virginia. So how I viewed it was like, okay, they should make the decision of, they should be able to decide.
So you feel like trying to rally and get other African American people from other places is a little bit too much?
Well, no. I mean, looking at politicians, no. I mean, I just felt, a whole lot of the politicians from outside the state that were all outraged were white.
Exactly.
And so, it
could
have seemed like... It could have seemed, it seemed like, okay, well, what if, public opinion or disapproval from, a bunch of people that are also white that don't even live in the state, he shouldn't step down. He shouldn't step down because of them. If people in his state want him to step down, I mean, especially black people in his state, then he should step down. But okay, I mean, the guy's pretty progressive, so it's okay, well, what if people
that was the realest thing I've ever heard. Okay, I feel that.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I believe. Yeah, if we no, you need to step down. You gotta step down, bro.
Yeah.
Because if we ain't behind you, I'm sorry, you're probably not gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? It's just because, really, you know what I'm saying? You all right, sister? All right, that's right. That's right.
Because I think there was also then what happened? Because then what was happening was then then the lieutenant governor was accused of rape, and then the guy that comes after him also did blackface in college or something.
Oh, don't even talk to me about the blackface situation. Oh my god.
Oh, but that was the issue with the governor of Virginia.
Yeah, I know. My gosh, because it's this whole Gucci and this other stuff.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah, I know about that.
I almost went.
Yeah,
I almost flew out the window.
Dolce and Gabbana. Yeah.
I almost flew out the window. Y'all be quiet with that. We got bigger issues here.
Yeah.
Y'all tripping.
Yeah.
Is you serious? Yeah. I be damned. I just spent $5,000 or something like that on my purse or something, or some shit. These people, everybody do something racist. So if it was a black person, then they ain't gonna sweat it, then it would have been different. I don't know. At the end of the day, y'all got the money to throw away stuff.
Yeah.
We people out here, we cherish the little things that we had that cost $2,000. Okay, I'll be there. I'm forget that. I'm not throwing that out no dang on window. I don't even know that person personally. They ain't never called me and say, "Hey, in work."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Text me or nothing. I'm not going straight. We got other issues to be dealing with. You know what I mean? This real, this underneath our noses.
So it's a trip that now that
I didn't know this was so fun, by the way,
Smollet is all in the news. Now it seems like maybe Governor Northam is gonna get away with it, or
they all getting away with something. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we just have to understand. We need to understand what they're getting away with.
And
it's
make
not
a
about
choice.
Yeah, we have to understand what they're getting away with. We're so busy trying to say, "Oh, they're doing this and they're doing that." We can't fight it. At the end of the day, these people got them power. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand, what are these people around us that's controlling this whole environment? What are they getting away with? We got to figure that out before we try and fight it. You know what I'm saying? We have to know the ins and outs of what's going on around us. It's how we live. It's our livelihood.
It is.
So at the end of the day, unless we understand how we living in, I don't know.
It is.
We have to know how we living first.
We do.
And get smarter on that.
We do.
I'm scared. I don't know if a bird got a camera on.
Well, okay. Well, let's move to some more. I can move to some of the more geographical stuff to get scary.
Like National Geographic?
International. Okay, we're going to talk about Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the countries that really interests me.
I got family
and
from there.
Do you?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm a little ethnic, girl. I mix with a couple things.
Yeah. So, back kind of the theme, and one of the things that I got interested in Nigeria, because years ago I read this really wonderful novel
just keep doing that
called
every 10 minutes?
Called Half of the Yellow Sun, and that's one of the things we talk about, a novel, a film, a TV show, something like that, because I think we get to know things by stories. So, you get a story for me, and then that'll give me a way to start researching stuff. Because, Nigeria is having an election, and the current president is Muhammadu Buhari, and he was elected 4 years ago, and it was the first peaceful democratic transfer of power in Nigeria.
Very
true. So cool you know about all this. Yeah.
Just a little bit, but it's very true. It was actually just uneventful. It was just good.
Yeah.
Blissful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
blissful.
he was from the north, so there were hopes that he would be able to crack down more on Boko Haram, which he has some, but unfortunately there's still a lot of activity
Still
from
tension.
Boko Haram. Yeah, and there's
It's
still
tension.
so just recently a number of people were killed and injured in a stampede at a campaign rally. And then gunmen have killed more than 60 people during attacks on two communities in the northwest, Kaduna in the north. So the issue in that part of Nigeria is between herders and farmers. So those are some of the people that are fighting with each other. And then there's also these kind of civilian defense forces. And I was just watching a documentary about a woman who's part of the civilian defense force. They're kind of like militias, but she's sort of like a good girl. They were like the good guys. And like, oh my God. Okay, you know how like the militias, the Boko Haram and all of them have like really up to date, like, machine guns and all of that. She was like walking around with this gun over her shoulder. I don't know that much about guns, but it practically looked like a rifle or something. I mean, but so they were basically people that like took it in their own hands to go fight Boko Haram. So anyway, there was the election was postponed. It was supposed to happen a week ago, and it was postponed. And that was really bad because, that was just confusing for people, and there were people that had already traveled and, like, spent the money to travel, and then it turned out they couldn't vote after all. And so it's kind of unknown. It's uncertain. Like,
so they went the whole way already.
Mm-hmm. And then it was canceled. And now it's supposed to be happening again, like tomorrow. And then a bill was passed. They have this. Okay, so people complain about this here, but it's even worse in other parts of the world about how like people in power are being too old. But the person like running against Buhari's 74. And the person running, Muhammadu Buhari. Yeah. And he, so we're just following, like free transportation was offered but not followed through. So, and then...
Not followed through?
Not followed through.
Really?
And then, so before we get to... there's another... We gotta get to Uganda. Because, talk about, like, some old folks. Yoweri Museveni is the president of Uganda, and he has ruled Uganda since 1986. And he won the 2011 presidential election after a 2005 constitutional amendment lifted presidential term limits. And they just lifted it again. In 2017, Parliament voted to remove the 75-year age limit for presidential candidates, clearing the way for Mr. Museveni to run for a sixth term in office. He's real and he put a tax on social media. And there's an opposition figure who's a rapper who's like and he's called like the ghetto president. He's from like the Ugandan version of a ghetto, whatever that is. And his name is
ghetto.
Yeah. His name is Bobby Wine. So he's really, really cool. We've played some of his music.
Bobby Wine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's been a gangster.
Yeah.
But not a bad gangster.
No, of course not.
Gangster.
No, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
He's
really?
Yeah, from Uganda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
he was
some good stuff.
We should put him on. So we like Bobby Wine, and we are really he is going to be running again, and he was
that's gonna be
like
nice.
Beaten, and we need to really hope he doesn't get killed, because last year he was practically killed.
Yeah.
And had to leave the country and come back. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
No, maybe not.
Well, we just really hope so, because
Maybe.
you know, I mean,
Yeah,
the sad thing is,
so.
in some countries,
Murder?
it can just be
In
a
here.
little too easy to kill your opponents.
I said he was a gangster rapper. You say, yeah, let's hope he not get murdered. Like,
Yeah.
damn. Okay, well, you know, I hope not, people in America.
Yes, you know.
Prayers.
So yes, well, that's okay. So Nigeria, we're praying for you.
No,
We're praying for Bobby Wine.
definitely.
And so we followed the
Yeah,
Democratic Republic of Congo pretty closely, and okay, so this was the president. This is, I don't even know if, okay, Joseph Kabila. We've talked about him a lot, and basically he took over from his daddy who was killed, and the opposition figure is Felix Tshisekedi, who was the son of the opposition figure who was against Kabila's father. And so basically, Kabila stepped down and handed power to Felix Tshisekedi, but Kabila just summoned members of the coalition to swear loyalty to him. So it's a real question about whether whether Kabila has stepped down or not, basically.
Oh.
So,
What do you think?
yeah, no,
No,
I think no.
I think so either.
Okay, should we take a break?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, we will be right back, everybody. Hey, Julie.